So, spoiler alert, this review is going to be positive regarding the movie. Akira has been my favorite movie of all time for like the past 10 years, regardless of genre. I mean, I own pretty much every single relevant release of it. I've got it on sub VHS, dub VHS, the Criterion Laserdisc, the 2001 Pioneer Special Edition DVD, the Oniyama's Blu-ray, and now the Funimation Blu-ray. So instead of focusing on whether or not this movie's good, because if you haven't seen this movie, stop the review, just go freaking buy the movie. I don't care what edition you buy, just go buy the movie. I'm going to focus on whether or not Funimation delivered the definitive Akira release. I mean, after all, it's been on home video so many times at this point, and even on Blu-ray twice now. This is the second time it's coming out on Blu-ray. So let's look into whether or not this release from Funimation is the release to own. For this review, I'm mostly going to compare this release to the previous Oniyama's Blu-ray, since many of the aspects from that disc were lifted and simply put on this one. I'll also try to keep this simple, but considering how much technical know-how went into making the movie and remastering it, no promises. Regarding the video, Akira has been remastered twice now, and the Funimation Blu-ray comes with the 2009 remaster from the previous Blu-ray, which isn't a bad thing. There's one slight difference in that the Funimation version is slightly cropped to remove the previous Blu-ray's window box. Let me be clear, Funimation did not actually crop the movie. They only removed the previous window box from the previous release. Flipping back and forth between the two Blu-rays, I couldn't really find a difference. The transfer keeps a fine layer of grain intact and is sharp and colorful throughout. It's hard to imagine Akira looking any better than this, and it's still one of the best anime film transfers to date. And on to the audio. For months, I was dreading this. On the one hand, I was really excited to finally have the streamlined dub in a relevant format. On the other, in every single press release, every promotional material, they made no mention of Akira's hypersonic track. I was getting worried, but let me ease everyone's fears. The Japanese hypersonic track is on the disc. A lot of you are probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about, but let me quickly run down the specs and we'll get into it. This disc comes with a 5.1 Dolby True HD version of the Pioneer English dub, as well as a 2.0 Dolby True HD version of the Streamline English dub. Both sound great, even the old Streamline version, which I'm guessing they recorded off the old Laserdisc or old VHS tapes, but it still sounds great. It doesn't sound as modern as the 2001 5.1 Pioneer track, but it still sounds really good. However, the big attraction to this disc is the Japanese Dolby True HD 5.1 version, with the 192 kHz frequency range and 24-bit depth sound. Why is this one such a big deal? I'll try to keep this simple, but keep in mind there's a lot of science and technicality that I don't fully understand, so I'm probably really oversimplifying it. So if you want to learn more about the hypersonic effect or this audio track, look up Tsutomi Ohashi, or as he's credited on the movie, Shoji Yamashiro. Shoji Yamashiro was the composer of Akira and also happens to be quite the scientist. He published a study in the Journal of Neurophysiology called the hypersonic effect, which states that although humans cannot consciously hear ultrasound, which are sounds at frequencies above approximately 20 kHz, the presence or absence of those frequencies has a measurable effect on their physiology and their psychological reactions. This is yet to be proven and the idea has been debated, but I bring that up to talk about the Japanese track. This crazy genius decided to take the old analog, which analog audio has a higher fidelity than digital since there's no compression or sampling, and remix the entire Akira soundtrack at a whopping 192 kHz, which is the limit of what Blu-ray can achieve. For comparison, even high-budget Hollywood movies don't do that. They usually record and complete their mixes at 48 kHz and a 24-bit. Hell, 8 years ago, 48 kHz and 16-bit was about the norm. This required so much bandwidth on Blu-ray that Dolby themselves had to step in and help compress the lossless track onto the disc. So is this track really all that awesome? While I can't speak to the hypersonic effect, I can say that this is one of, if not the best, surround soundtrack of any Blu-ray. The future of 2019 Neo Tokyo comes alive like never before, and is easily the best test of any home theater system. Funimation didn't mess with perfection here and simply ported that track over from the previous Blu-ray. Unfortunately, I do have one little tiny nitpick here. The original Japanese 2.0 stereo theatrical mix is not on this disc. For any film purist out there, this does lack the original mix, which was on the previous Blu-ray, so we can't really hear what the film sounded like back in 1988. A shame it's not here, but not enough of a shame to take off points for. "25 years later, and we're still talking about Akira. It's one of the staples of the genre, and for a lot of people, their first exposure to anime before the Toonami boom. Such an influential movie that without we might not have The Matrix, Ghost in the Shell, Chronicle, Dark City, and many others. Akira is a unique film in that even though it's influenced so much, there really hasn't been a film like it before or since. Akira employed various techniques that mostly only American animation was using, such as pre-scoring basically all the music and voices before a single frame of Akira had been animated. Otomo himself drew 4,500 storyboards based on his own 2,000-page manga for this project, and over 160,000 animation cells make up this movie. Most of this movie takes place at night, which at the time wasn't done since this requires a lot more colors to be used. And so a total of 327 different colors were used, 50 of which were created just for the film. The production budget was nearly $10 million, which is unheard of in Japanese animation even today. Akira was just this wonderful, crazy experiment that just went for it. Akira is brutal and violent, but never cold. It's a human story about pushing the limits of other people while somehow cramming political satire, religious commentary, and what it means to have real power, and what if that power shouldn't be in anyone's hands in the first place. There's not much I can say about Akira that anyone else hasn't really said before, which makes this review particularly hard to put together since all I want to do is yell at the top of my lungs, "Buy this movie!" I'm sure FUNimation would appreciate me doing that, but let's actually try to analyze this film and really get down to what makes it so great. Akira opens with Kaneda, Tetsuo, and the rest of their bike gang in an all-out battle with another bike gang, and Tetsuo happens upon a strange child. After the military steps in to recover the strange child, they take Tetsuo with them, and now the mystery begins as Kaneda tries to find out what exactly happened to him. You know what, do I really need to go into the plot of Akira? It's been 25 years at this point. Any self-respecting anime fans knows this movie and knows how it all ends. In my opinion, this is required viewing for any anime fan or any student of animation. From its technical prowess that still stuns to this day, its story is still a timeless one. The images from this movie will stay burned within your mind for ages, and its unforgettable musical score will be a masterpiece long after we're gone. But to any newcomers to this movie, allow me to give you some advice. This is one to watch in Japanese. It's not that the English dubs are bad or anything, but this is one that really needs to be seen in Japanese. As I mentioned earlier, this movie was pre-scored before a single frame of animation was completed. See, in Japan, when actors record their dialogue for anime, they watch the completed animation and sync to the lip flap, similar to how we dub anime into English. However, for Akira, since all the voices were recorded first, the animation team animated to their performances, and actually animated everyone's mouth to the way they speak, and animated every single little nuance. This isn't uncommon in Western animation like The Simpsons or any Disney movie, but in Japan it had never been done before. And I can't think of any example since then that has tried to do the same. Plus, you can tell there's a lot of cultural references and subtleties that the American actors aren't quite picking up on, especially in the streamlined dub. That being said, having both English dubs is a treat, as neither of them are really that bad. But Akira was already a difficult movie to dub, and I don't think any English cast could have truly done it justice. Akira is a movie that will continue to have relevance in anime and beyond because of how powerful it is. Trends may come and go in genres, but Akira can hold its head up high with the rest of the greats in animation, like Snow White and Toy Story, as achieving something definitively exemplary. This isn't Akira's first time on home video, so FUNimation has ported over many of the extras from previous releases, mostly the Pioneer Special Edition. Included here is an interview with director Katsushiro Otomo and an Akira sound clip, which is a behind-the-scenes look at the Genyo Yamashiro Gumi as they created a score for Akira without any footage to work with. The original Japanese and TV spots, as well as the old behind-the-scenes Pioneer remaster and redub from back in 2001. Just to be clear, because this might confuse some people, the process for the video remaster that IVC, Pioneer, and THX collaborated on in the special feature is not the remaster in the movie. Bandai-Visual remastered the movie again at a higher quality than was possible back then, so then this special feature doesn't really apply to the movie you're watching. But it's cool to still have it if you like film restoration or editing. Also, we get to see voice actors and the sound mixers working on the 2001 redub, which is also pretty cool within itself. Also included from the old FUNimation release is all of Katsushiro Otomo's storyboards. All of them. The whole movie. It's amazing to look through all the rough art and see the final result in the movie. Also included is FUNimation's great 2013 trailer for the 25th anniversary edition of this movie. This is a pretty big amount of extras, and that's awesome, right? Well, sadly, this release is missing one thing from the previous special edition from Pioneer. The production report, which was easily the best special feature, is missing in action here. It went into the animation process, showed scenes from the voice actors recording their dialogue, and much more. It's a shame it's not here, but it's not a deal breaker. Besides, most Akira fans, probably like me, have kept their various releases of the film, so it's not too big of a loss. Like the omission of the theatrical mix, it isn't enough to bring down my score, especially since you can find the production report on the old Pioneer disc easily online, or look up clips on YouTube. This is still a goldmine of extras, and there's a lot to love here. Overall, while FUNimation may not have delivered the definitive release of Akira, they've still delivered the best, and considering how many times it's been on home video, that in and of itself is awesome. So while the package is missing one or two things, in fact, it's missing two things, that's it, it's still pretty much the best damn release of Akira ever, and I didn't think they were going to do it, if I'm honest. It has the best video quality, best sound quality possible with as many extras as they can pack into the Blu-ray. It's an awesome package and overall worthy of being on anyone's shelf. So if you haven't picked up Akira, oh hell, if you have picked up Akira, go pick this movie up again. This is easily the best home video release of the movie ever. Don't miss your chance to own it on home video now. Whew, that was long. Yeah, we promised the rest of our video reviews are nowhere near as long. In fact, I didn't even intend for this to be this long, but Akira. So while you're here, please check out the rest of our videos, which I promise are much shorter, and visit our website at geekyinc.com. Follow us on Twitter at geekyinc, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekyincproductions. Thanks for sticking around on this review, and we hope to see you on the next one. Included here is an interview with director Katsushiro Otomo, an Akira sound clip, which is a behind-the-scenes look at the Geno Yamashiguru... Oh, fuck. Included here is an interview with director Katsushiro Otomo, and Katsushiro Otomo... Katsushiro. Included here is an interview with director Katsushiro Otomo, an Akira sound clip, which is a behind. Included here is an interview with which is a behind-the-scenes look at the Genyo, which is a behind-the-scenes look at the Genyo Yamashiguri. No, Yamashirogumi. Genyo Yamashirogumi, as they created the score for Akira without any footage to work with.